At the heart of a pike angler's tackle is the rod. Whatever the method, a pike rod must be able to drive a hook into the bony jaw of a fish, and yet be supple enough to soften the blows of a prolonged fight. Pike generally prefer larger baits, 15 centimeters or more in length, but not always. In summer the fish are often preoccupied with fry, so then a lighter rod such as this is perfect. Generally, a good quality fixed spool reel and a medium weight carbon fibre spinning rod of around 2 meters 70 in length that has a nice crisp action as well as enough backbone to set the hook will cover these situations. Single-legged rings have little effect on the action of the blank. Rods with a casting weight of about 40 grams allow one to use light to medium-sized plugs, spoons and spinners, as well as doubling as a trolling rod. A jerkbait outfit is designed to breathe life into some of the heaviest lures in the modern pike angler's armament. This also makes them excellent for casting large shads and spinners, as well as for trolling. That brings us to the classical pike rod, a heavy spinning rod of about 3 meters that is designed to fish lures with a casting weight of 80 or 90 grams. This rod is ideal for working plugs, spinners, spoons, and dead baits, whether from a boat or from the bank. A slightly heavier rod is needed for ledgering or float fishing large dead baits. Such rods should be rated for casting at least 100 grams, or have a test curve of 2.5 or 3 pounds, so that they can place the baits at the distance needed. Match this up with a large fixed spool reel with a free line function. And for the huge pike in the brackish waters of the Baltic, you should use tackle that won't oxidize so quickly. Bait casting reels give you maximum control and are the reels of choice when using jerk baits, but any decent multiplier with a capacity of 170 yards of 16-pound line will do just fine. Pike anglers value the lack of elasticity, in particular when setting the hook. You can probably get away with mono if you're just trolling, otherwise braid is the way to go. 16-pound breaking strain line will catch just about any pike that ever lived. Pike are often lost at the surface just before being landed, as they tend to shake their heads quite aggressively. One can avoid losing some of these fish by using 3 to 5 meters of mono at the end of your main line and slackening off the drag as soon as the fish is on the surface. Both these measures soften the effects of all that head shaking, usually managing to retain the hook hold until the fish is in the net. Pike teeth require bite-proof traces. Use either wire or hard mono. Both hard mono and single strand wire consist of one single bite-proof filament. 7-strand wire has been the standard for many years. 49-strand wire is very soft and supple and can even be knotted. A selection of quality treble hooks is useful, but mostly we find ourselves using size 2 trebles, which tend to fit most situations. If you're fishing in the Baltic, then it makes sense to equip your baits with rust-resistant models, as they stay sharp longer and consequently hook more fish. The lip grip is a modern alternative to a gaff or a landing net. The fish is held securely by its lower jaw, and hooks and sharp teeth are effectively kept at bay. It also prevents the trebles getting caught in the mesh of the landing net. The head of the boga grip swivels to prevent a thrashing fish from injuring its jaw. This model also has a scale that can be pre-tested by the IGFA. If you're going to use a landing net, then make sure it's big enough for a 20-pounder. Pike traces are easily made up oneself. Make sure that the trace material and the crimps are compatible and work carefully. In this way you can be sure that your traces won't let you down. This applies to wire and to hard mono respectively. Just as the crimps and trace material need to be compatible, so do the crimps and crimping pliers. The stiffer the jaws, the better the result, and always use the right size crimping cup. Hard mono is less visible than wire, but not quite as bite resistant. We have come to the conclusion that hard mono is excellent for fishing with lures or trolling, but wire is still better for float fishing or ledgering with dead baits. The finished trace is 40 cm long and is attached to the main line via a link swivel. The lure is also attached with a link swivel. If one reinserts the free end of the wire into the crimp, you get a nice tidy connection that holds well and doesn't prick on wary fingers. Here you have it. Crimp, trace and pliers are all nicely matched. Press down hard and the job's done. Perfect. With a fish such as the pike, removing the hooks can be as much of an issue as hooking the fish in the first place. A good set of pliers with a long reach is a necessity. If you hand land a fish, this has the added advantage of opening the pike's mouth automatically, and you can go to work with your pliers nicely.